To welcome you all to our third International Language Assessment Conference in Egypt. Thank you all for being here today. We're so happy to see so many faces. Some of you are new, and some of you we are welcoming back for the first or second time. Thank you for being here. I would like to say that even though this is our third ILACE, it is also the second year that the American University in Cairo and the British Council have partnered together to offer this conference. And I hope you are all as excited as we are about the conference program. Now, I'd like to introduce Tahrir Ismail from the British Council. He is the academic manager for UK qualifications, but more importantly, he is responsible for leading our organizing committee to bring you this conference today. So, Tahrir.
Thank you, Betsy. Good morning to all of you. It's fantastic to see so many people here today to celebrate assessment, to come together and to explore assessment and language testing when I know we all have such busy schedules, but to put 2 days aside for a conference is just remarkable. So thank you all for coming. Welcome to ILACE 2017. This is our third International Language Assessment Conference in Egypt, as organized and delivered through a partnership between the American University in Cairo and the British Council. I am honored to have taken over the role as conference chair for ILACE 2017, and to be part of what has been our young but truly growing conference. And I think every year we see more and more people come, and this is a very exciting thing. Personally, as the academic manager, working with teachers, working with students, I really understand the role of assessment in changing systems and therefore changing lives. And that's why I'm really so glad to see that we're all here today to explore language assessment and engage in scholarly discussion on this really important topic. I'd just like to share with you some of the comments that I came across in conversations and through emails with people around Egypt, around the Middle East, that I have received as the co-chair. So one comment I received was, "I don't know anything about assessment. Can I come to ILACE?" Another one was, "I'm really scared of tests and I don't believe that tests are good for students. Should I come to ILACE?" And there were lots and lots of these kind of questions. Some people thinking that perhaps this conference was pitched at a high level for them, and they weren't sure that they would be able to understand or follow. But really what I'm here to say to you today is ILACE is for everybody. And assessment is for all of us here. So I'm really happy that whoever we are, whether we're teachers or researchers or educators or assessment reformers, that we're all here today to take forward that discussion and learn from each other as well. Ladies and gentlemen, ILACE 2017 is bigger and more international than any other ILACE to date. I'm really happy to share with you that we have 40 sessions scheduled on our conference program, which include 2 plenary presentations, 20 presentations, 19 workshops, 6 poster sessions, as well as a special session. So that is a huge achievement, and we are all really looking forward to some of the wonderful content that we will hear over the next 2 days. And we also have presenters from over 10 countries, including Egypt, Palestine, Algeria, Oman, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Qatar, Turkey, Hungary, Ukraine, Hong Kong, the US, and the UK, making ILACE 2017 a truly international conference. We're incredibly lucky to have two very distinguished keynote speakers who have traveled to Egypt to be part of this conference and share with you their expertise and experience. Dr. Christine Koum and Dr. Dudley Reynolds. And we are incredibly grateful that they have given up this time from their very busy schedules to be here for the next 2 days and to work with us. And we will hear more about them in the coming session. Now, last year, our ILACE conference theme was Learning from Assessment. And since then, the ILACE Organizing Committee have taken all possible steps to learn from your assessment and your evaluation of our last year's conference. And we've looked at your feedback, and that's why we've made a number of key changes to our program and our conference, including more sessions and more variety. We are also very happy to have a truly inspiring theme for ILACE 2017. And that is assessment in the 21st century, from research to classroom realities. And what is particularly remarkable about this theme is that it was chosen by you, or shall I say those of you who managed to attend ILACE 2016 and who inputted their thoughts and ideas into where we go with ILACE in our special session last year, which I facilitated. So that makes our theme this year even more special. And we can therefore say that inclusion is very much part of ILACE 2017. And we want to continue this tradition. And that's why we will have another extending a discussion session delivered by Elizabeth and Jancis. And you will see that on your conference program for later this afternoon. So if you do want to be part of that discussion and contribute towards ILACE 2018, then I really recommend you all go to that session. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have with us three very special guests who would like to share their perspectives on ILACE 2017 and our growing partnership. Many of you will of course know our first guest, who is very much considered an eminent assessment expert, well known in our region, Dr. Dina Barai, Dean of the School of Continuing Education. Dr. Dina Barai was also past president of TESOL International and is a founding member of ILACE. So Dina, I would like you to share some words with our attendees today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Tamir, for a lovely introduction. I have to admit something. I have 2 children, but my third baby is ILACE, and it is 3 years old, and I'm so proud that it is increasing. I'm overwhelmed today. I can see Ewerts is slowly filling, and I wanted you to know that our first ILACE, we had a very tiny little conference. It was about 100 wonderful participants. And this is because we have a wonderful partnership, very powerful partnership with a leading organization, the British Council in Egypt, and I thank you very much for working together in making my baby wonderful and growing, and inshallah, I think our ILACE conference will be maybe equal to the Nile TESOL conference, which is now, we are about 3,000, and so I think with this partnership between British Council and AUC, assessment will take its place. Now, I just want to say a few words of thanks, and then I'll go into my favorite topic of just a few words about assessment. I want to thank the chair, Tamir Ismail. You pulled it off in spite of all our challenges, and thank you so much for all that you've done. And I want to thank the soldiers, Elizabeth Arrigoni and Jancis. thank you so much for everything you've done. And I know in spite of all the challenges you had to face, we pulled it off. And of course, my dear friends, Christine Koum and Dudley Reynolds, thank you for coming and making this a wonderful conference. I want to thank the Nile TLSO president, Alex Luku, for all your support. And thank you for coming today, because without you, there is no conference. And I just want to echo something that Tahrir said. Assessment can drive reform. That is, with a very powerful assessment system and with teachers who really know what assessment and effective assessment is about, we can do wonderful things in the classroom. And what is happening in Egypt, I think you've heard about this new idea of no Thanawi Amma and how we're going to use assessment to drive secondary education reform, which I will talk about today, later on, is something very important for us. And that's why we are having this conference, and we'll continue to grow the value and impact of assessment. And as Tahrir said, you don't have to be an expert, because assessment is something we do in our classroom every day, and the more you do it, you will, and you have to be an expert. We all have to be an experts in assessment in order to be good teachers. So welcome, and I look forward to talking to you all, inshallah, in the next 2 days, and please enjoy the conference.
Thank you, Dina. And we appreciate your continued support and investment and input into the ILACE organizing committee. And as Dina mentioned, we have invited Dina to deliver a feature speaker session, which will be taking place today in the Ewart Hall at 1:30, where Dina will talk about assessment reform.
Yes. I am sorry, I made a terrible mistake, because I thanked everybody, but I didn't thank my own team. That was terrible of me. And I want to thank wonderful Hanan Faris. Please stand up. And your team. Without you, there is no conference. Thank you. And forgive me.
Thank you, Dina. Now, our next special guest is a very busy man. He is the country director of the British Council in Egypt. He has worked and lived in many countries and been part of many educational programs. Please welcome to the stage Jeff Streeter. Yes.
Good morning. Shall I just take that one? Good morning, everybody. That's better. Can you hear me? Great. Good morning. It's wonderful to be here. It's wonderful to be in this wonderful hall as well. It's a beautiful place and a very suitable place, I think, with all its academic tradition behind the AUC in this campus to be opening this conference. ILACE 2017, the third edition of what we all know will be many, many to come. And as already Dina has said and Tahrir has said, this conference is truly a collaboration between, first and foremost, the AUC and the British Council. And let me say how proud we are to be working with our partners at AUC on this as part of our wider collaboration together as institutions in education in Egypt. And as Dina also said, this is truly an international event with speakers from all around the world. And I think Tahrir's mentioned the names of countries who have supplied us with speakers. And I think this is really appropriate because our wish is to support Egypt in adopting international benchmarks wherever possible in English language teaching. And so what better way than to bring in expertise from around the world to blend with expertise from here in Egypt. We know from our experience that young Egyptians can compete with anyone in the world and indeed be the best. To do that, they need to be working towards internationally agreed standards. And we in the British Council are committed to supporting high-quality English language assessment alongside excellence in teacher development. A point just made by Dina there, the relationship between the two. And that's why I'm very happy to see that one of the key questions being explored here this year is how to create a deep culture of learning-oriented assessment. It's important for us to keep in mind that the key role that good assessment has in good learning and good teaching. In the British Council, we've been here in Egypt for nearly 80 years, and we're looking forward to our next 80 years. And we work with the Ministry of Education, universities, private schools, and other partners to support the drive towards higher standards in English and other subjects in Egypt. I believe, and I'm sure you agree with me, that Egypt's greatest asset is the talent of its young people. And the work we all do is to help to nurture and develop that talent to the benefit of all society. Our work is always in partnership with others, and as I said at the beginning, we're especially proud of our partnership with AUC and the School of Continuing Education. So my thanks go to all who have made it possible, the organisers, including my colleagues and of course colleagues from the AUC, the speakers who've come so far all around the world, and of course you from being here as attendees, delegates to make this happen. And of course, our special thanks to Dina Borai. This is her baby, as she said, and we're here to nurture that baby. And we know that very much without her, this conference simply would never have happened. We're grateful to Dina for her spirit of collaboration and continuing belief in the importance of quality assessment in the development of language skills, the skills that will allow the young people we educate to make the most of the opportunities that they will surely find in the bright future ahead of them. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, Jeff. And our last speaker today joins us as president of Nile TESOL, which many of you will recognize as the, let's say, the largest conference that happens in Egypt. Please would you welcome Alex Luco to the stage.
Thank you, and I'm very honored to have been asked to speak on this very illustrious panel here to open the conference. I, of course, am here on behalf of Nile TESOL, a professional organization that many of us here know very well, and on behalf of Nile TESOL, I like to welcome all of you to be here. This conference is a strong symbol and sign and indicator of the growth of assessment awareness and expertise in Egypt. But the more I thought about this and preparing my remarks for today, I was thinking, when you really think of it in our field, assessment is perhaps the oldest and the newest thing that we talk about. How is it the oldest? Well, instructors of any subject in education have always talked about it and have always been interested in it. There have always been discussions in educational institutions about how to do assessment well. And let's think about Nile TESOL. At the conference that we have every year, if you look through the program book, you will see a lot about assessment. If you go back to when it was a skills conference and you think about assessment, you will see in those program books, I am sure, lots of concern and discussion about assessment. So it's been around for a very long time. However, it's also the newest thing that we talk about. It's, of course, always developing how people who specialize in assessment research think and what they are concerned about, but also for instructors. We, as instructors, ask ourselves the same questions that people have been asking for years. For instance, do we focus too much on that summative assessment without really thinking about assessment for learning throughout a course? Do we feel confident in how we write items? Do we think about reliability in our assessments? These are things that we keep asking ourselves as individuals over and over again. And so we all know there's a need for more. So as much as we've talked about it, we need to continue to do so. And we have been very lucky in our context here in Egypt. We have, of course, the Teaching and Assessment SIG, or the TSIG, which is Nile TESOL's first special interest group, and I'm happy to say that we've had more special interest groups since. But for years now, they have had events which have raised our awareness and helped improve our practices around assessment. And I was very fortunate, even as recent as this past May, to go to a event in the Falaki building not far away, themed New Trends in Assessment by this SIG. It was very well attended with very excellent, well done presentations, including a presentation on test design, a presentation on classroom talk and informative assessment, which was given by Mona Masal, who is right here in front of us. And finally, assessment for learning, the idea, do we simply believe in assessment for learning, or do we preach it? And I would say practice it. A true testament to assessment knowledge in Egypt is through that SIG, and of course the dissemination of that knowledge to others. Of course, though, in order to broaden that, we are very fortunate to have this conference, which is in its third year. And this is an opportunity for all of us to come together and focus on different issues of assessment, and to take a break from everything else to really think about assessment in a more deep way. So I hope that we don't only learn, though. You know, going back to that topic at the previous TSIG event, it was, do we believe in assessment for learning, or let's just say assessment in general, or do we preach it? Do we really practice it? So if we're here, of course we want to learn about the things that people are researching, or the assessments that people are doing in their classes. But the real challenge at any conference like this one is to think about, okay, here is a particular research, here is a particular context, but something good is happening there. How do I take this and bring it into my own classroom or into our own programs? This is where the challenge lies for us to do, to not simply see what's going on, but to incorporate it for ourselves. And so that is where we not only believe in it, but practice and preach it. So I want to thank just a few people. Of course, the conference organizing committee, especially Tamir Ismail, for all of the work that was done. Of course, I want to thank the two important partners of this conference, the British Council and the American University School of Continuing Education. Finally, I would really like to thank all of you for being here. Of course, as president of Nile TESOL, we are very concerned with professional development. That is why Nile TESOL is here. And the only way education improves anywhere is if the teachers, the instructors, are embedded in thinking about their own professional development. When we are concerned with our own professional development, then that is how our field improves. And of course, you being here is a testament to that commitment to your own professional development, and of course, the improvement and the evolution of your teaching and that of your context. So thank you very much, and have a good time at this conference. I'm sure we will all learn a lot. Thank you.
Some very insightful words there from Alex Luco on the challenges but opportunities in language assessment. Thank you. And for those of you who are interested in applying to present at Nile TESOL, the deadline on the call for proposals is the middle of October. So if that's an opportunity you would like to pursue, then do have a look on their website. Now, it's very important for us to also give thanks to some of the other people here with us today who have contributed to building ILACE and who have worked so hard behind the scenes to bring this conference to us today. So from the Jancis McGrady, and it's very sad for us to say too that Jancis will be leaving us in the coming weeks, so will no longer be on our committee. And she has been part of that for the last two conferences, and those who came last year will remember her as our co-chair. So we are very sad to say goodbye to Jancis, but we wish her all the best moving on. And also Hanan Faris. And we thank Hanan for all her efforts to bring this conference to us today, managing the premises and sorting all of the behind-the-scenes logistics. So we really thank Hanan and her team, including Hala Dirgham and Mahmoud Sharaf as well for all of their support in ILACE. Just one other person for me to thank is Kishore Roy from the British Council. Do we have Kishore? He's here somewhere at the back. Now, we all thank Kishore for believing in ILACE and building this partnership with Dina Barai and investing resources to ensure that this conference delivers impact and delivers the kind of learning opportunities that we're here for. So we really thank him for all of his support. And of course, we thank our presenters. And we have a total of 40 presenters here with us in the room today, and we thank you all for your hard efforts, and we wish you the best of luck with your presentations and workshops and poster sessions. And most of all, we thank you for attending our conference. Thank you for being here, and we hope that we can work with you, learn with you over the coming 2 days. Thank you all for coming, and I look forward to meeting with you on the sidelines of this conference. Thank you. Now, before we start our conference, we have a couple of housekeeping rules. So you'll all notice in your conference bag a conference program. So I would encourage you to have a look at that and identify the sessions that you are interested in going to. I'm afraid we do have a couple of cancellations and corrections. We hope that doesn't cause much inconvenience to you. It's always difficult to arrange an international conference, and some people, especially that have tried to come from overseas, have not been able to join us. So I believe in your conference bags, you will find cancellations and corrections amendment sheet. So please do have a look at that before you go to your first sessions this afternoon. As you will notice, we have scheduled the presentations to take place in this room, the Ewart Hall, with our smaller rooms reserved for our workshops, which are more hands-on and interactive. So please do consider what kind of session you would like to go to, and you will notice that the sessions are indicated with a P or a W on the conference program, depending on whether it's a presentation or a workshop. So do have a look at that too. We'll also ask you to be considerate when you're attending sessions over the coming 2 days, in terms of coming in, and if you prefer to leave a session to attend another, just being as discreet as possible. We know that there's lots on the conference program and lots of exciting sessions to attend. So just, if we can please be mindful to the presenters and to the other attendees in the room, and try and be as discreet as possible if moving from session to session. And also, I know many of us like to take photographs at conferences, and we use our mobile phones. That's okay, but just to let you know that we will also be we'll be collecting all the presentations over the coming 2 days on a website and sharing that link with you. So that will be there for you to access. So do keep that in mind as you are attending the sessions. As you will also notice, in your conference bag, we will have our feedback forms. No, I'm told that the feedback forms are not in your conference bag. I believe they are with us in the room. So our colleagues will start distributing the feedback forms. So we please ask you to complete that feedback, and at the end of the conference, there will be a box at the back of the room where you can submit your feedback form. Now, why is this exciting? Because there will be a prize raffle. So, in the closing ceremony, we will be selecting a number of feedback forms at random from our box, and those lucky feedback givers will receive some of the prizes that we have in our raffle. So, please be here on our closing ceremony on Tuesday afternoon to receive that. And I would also just like to thank Betsy for all of her support. Betsy was our co-chair in last year's conference, and this year she's provided enormous support to the organizing committee and taken on this role of opening ILACE this year. So I would like to personally thank you for all of your contributions, and I really hope for the organization, for our partnership and our committee that contribution continues into the future, and we hope it does. So the last word from me is thank you for coming. I hope you enjoy this conference. I think it will be a marvelous 2 days. There are many exciting sessions. I'm personally looking forward to going to many. And enjoy and discuss and engage and be part of our conference with us. Thank you.